Node 564560 connected to Node 564562.
KD7ZYM testing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Good evening. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society Net on the 08 machine. I'm Dave, KD7ZYM. The Western Washington Amateur Television is a group of amateur radio enthusiasts that take to the airways with digital amateur television in the DVB-T format. We transmit on 70 centimeters to a crossband repeater on Cougar Mountain and spits out images at 1.2 gigahertz. To find out more about our group, please Google WW7ATS. That's Google WW7ATS. That will take you to our homepage on the internet. There you'll find the exact frequencies we transmit and receive on. And also there'll be a link that takes you to YouTube where we stream our nets held Wednesdays and Saturdays. Also, we simulcast our audio on W7 ATS 2-meter frequency 147.08 with a tone of 103.5. So with that, I'll pause in case anyone has to make a contact or has emergency traffic before our net gets fully underway. This is Dave, KD7CYM. Welcome back to the Western Washington Amateur Television Society Net. I'm Dave, KD7ZYM. Signed in already is Ron, KD7QKU. Bob, K9PQ. Richard, K7ITX. Jim, N7QO. James, WU7N, and myself, Dave, KD7ZYM. So let's start it off with Ron, KD7QKU. With Ron, KD7QKU.
Okay, I'm waiting for my picture to come up. I think it's coming. Yeah, there it is. I'm on. Well, everything seems to be working pretty good tonight. I did say KD7QKU over here in North Tacoma. Man, we have had some beautiful days. I was telling everybody just a minute ago on Discord that Joanne's niece and her family are over in Italy. They're pretty close to Rome. They were down in Naples today. Anyway, she sent some pictures and texted some, and I text back, and then she texts back. It was almost instantaneous, and it was just amazing, that she's practically on the other side of the world, and how fast the text messages go. So I've been having trouble here, with getting on the internet and with the Wi-Fi. There's 3 technicians that are here and check the stuff, but they couldn't seem to solve the problem. And so today they had the company that provides all the services for them. That technician was here, and he came. They said that we were on the whiteboard, and then he would be here on Wednesday, and he would have him come over, because we were the only place that was having trouble. Nobody else was having trouble. And so he came over and probably spent 2 hours here and talked to his boss, I think, and everything. And finally he figured it out. They had hooked this little box up backwards. So he said that it was trying to send, I don't know, something the wrong way. So anyway, he said it was a simple problem, and he had spent hours, trying to figure it out. So anyway, he unplugged it, plugged it all back in the other way, and everything seems to be working. It was intermittent. You never knew when you were going to lose internet. And then it would be on, and then it would say you don't have any internet. And I was having trouble, with everything here. The other night, I was really frustrated. So anyway, it looks like everything's working tonight. So hallelujah. So I guess I'll turn it back to Dave. And anyway, good evening to everyone. It's always nice to see and hear from you. So KD7QKU, back to net.
KD7QKU, thanks with that. This is Dave, KD7ZYM. Let's go to Bob, K9PQ in Oak Harbor.
Okay. Well, I'm trying to anticipate a little bit. Living dangerously, I clicked to start streaming before I heard the end of Dave's talking, but with the delay I've got, I knew I was fine. Um, it's cooling off quickly here. It's 63.5 degrees outside, and I did have the AC on today, but it only got up to about 83 max, and really cooled off through the afternoon. It was in the mid to upper 70s for most of the afternoon. Um, and I was chatting with a friend of mine, texting with a friend of mine. Well, KC8MUS, Chris, if anyone knows him, down in Seattle, and it was 86 there when it was 77 here, and so I got to thinking about the temperature differences between the two places, and because it just seemed like it stays cooler, and it kind of makes sense being near the water and everything, and I got some numbers, and they played out. So for this month, June, our average high is 65 versus 71 in Seattle. July, it's 68 versus 77 in Seattle, and August, 69 versus 78 in Seattle. So, nearly a 10-degree difference in the temperature. And then the one thing I kind of thought was true, but I didn't know for sure, and I had confirmed, is that we are in the Olympic rain shadow, basically the same one that Squim is famous for. And we only get 21 inches of rain per year on average versus Seattle's 37. So um, I thought that was kind of interesting information, just that it is significantly drier and I would say sunnier. I think we have more sunny days here than in Seattle, and significantly cooler in the summer, pretty close to the same in the winter, because there's not going to be that big a difference based on the ocean temperatures and being by the water. Um, but yeah, I was a little surprised by the rain shadow, because if you look on a map where I am on Whidbey Island, it's you're looking if you look west, you're looking straight out the Strait of Juan de Fuca. So it's just how the weather pattern happens to go, that we're in that rain shadow, even though you wouldn't guess it if you thought the weather was coming straight in from the west. Um, and So yeah, I guess that's what I've got for starters. Uh, I was planning to be on a trip by now, to visit a brother and sister south of me, just driving. Um, and But with the roofing here being delayed a little bit, and I couldn't get the movers set up, so I postponed that trip, and I'm going to get the movers out here, get everything here before I actually go down. I really have to do that because part of the purpose of the trip is to bring a few things I'm giving to my brother and sister-in-law, and they're in storage right now, so I've got to get them here. Okay, well, and I did forget to let's stay up close to the mic. I forgot I want to stay close to the mic. So I'll be interested in a signal report on how I'm sounding, and if now that I'm remembering to be close to the mic, if I'm better. Okay, I'll send it back. This is K9PQ.
K9PQ, thanks with that. And let's go to Kent, K7ITX.
Okay. Well, Bob, I'll say that your audio, for whatever reason, was just louder. Didn't matter if I don't know if you changed how your mouth was to the microphone during this last report or not. If you did or didn't make any difference. It was right out of the gate. You had really strong audio. So anyway, whatever you've done, it's working out just fine. So good for that. All right. Well, yeah, I'm at the Northwest Kidney Center here in Kent, Washington, getting my blood filtered for lack of a couple decent kidneys. So I'm looking I can see the smart board at the entrance in the lobby. It's calling out 78 degrees outside, and then some tips on how to stay cool. And I see an ice cream bar is one of the tips, so I'll agree with that one, that's for sure. So, gee whiz, I'm hoping for a good time and good weather. 4th of July, it's going to be rainy coming up. The temperature's going to drop, and there's going to be a little bit of rain towards the end of this week, and over the weekend. And I'm hoping that that kind of gets the rain. We kind of get it out of our system, so that by the time we hit the 4th of July, it'll be looking pretty good. We got a big car race at Pacific Raceway, and so let's see. I've already taken a long enough turn, so when it comes back to me, I'll fill you in on the latest developments with our race car. K7ITX, back to net control.
K7ITX, thanks for that. Get a quick ID here. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society Net. I'm Dave, KD7ZYM. Let's move on down to Jim, N7QO.
N7QO. Thank you, Dave. Good evening, everyone. And Dave, I just saw a picture of Wade. He's here. So add him to the rotation, please. So let's see. Ron. The fellows had a box hooked up backwards, but it was an intermittent problem. Yeah. I would bet it not only frustrated you, but I'll bet that frustrated them. It's like you connect things and you don't always expect that there's something wrong with the connection. That speaks to the advantage of having the input connector and the output connector being two different types of connectors. Sometimes it's not practical to do that, but it could certainly save a lot of problems, just like what you had. Anyway, glad they found the problem. You're looking marvelous tonight. and that's good. Let's see. Bob, you said 63 degrees outside. You wanted feedback about audio. Yes, your audio is excellent tonight, and for that matter, your picture is as well. And yeah, Oak Harbor in the rain shadow. That's up there along that latitude. Dick, 78 degrees. You said over there on the board. I'm showing 84 degrees here at my house just south of Covington right now. Clear sky, light winds, an absolutely beautiful day. Maybe a little bit too warm for some people, but I like it. Not as warm as Phoenix, but it's warm nevertheless. That's good. I think it was comfortably warm today. Good to hear you in there, Dick. And back to you, Dave, and 7QO.
N7QO, thanks with that. And I see Wade is signed on. W7ITL in Tacoma. Wade, what say you?
Well, I don't know if my audio's working today, so I guess I'll just try on 2 meter. Wow, what a day, I tell you. I didn't get everything ready for this round, but I have some pictures to show in the next round. I got to figure out what's going on with my audio. All right, I guess I'll catch you guys later.
W7ITL, thanks with that. Let's go to Jim, N7QO. Well, we've had him. I'm sorry, I got out of line. WU7N in Northeast Bellevue.
WU7N in Northeast Bellevue. WU7N. WU7N. All right. Hopefully my audio is coming okay. Crossed okay. Well, let's see. I'll start with the bottom. Wade, you had some kind of weird double track audio going there. The brief time that you were on, it was almost like there was a delay, and then it's like left and a right channel, but then the recording the same thing, but then playing back with one channel delayed about 2 seconds. So I don't know if that helps any or not. Let's see, and Jim, comfortably warm. I would describe it that way, yeah. I ended up going to Costco today, really didn't plan on it, and also swung by Trader Joe's and the post office, and that was more than a little comfortably warm for me. I was in my Honda Civic, and just being out direct in the sun makes a huge difference. In the shade, it was very comfortably warm walking around. So it was, it was a little warm for the Pacific Northwest, but very manageable. Richard, I'm glad you could join us from the Northwest Kidney Center. That's always good to hear from you. And hope you're up. I think you're coming up on an upcoming trip here you're taking. I hope that goes well for you. Bob, we always knew you were way cooler than anyone in Seattle. Even if the National Weather Service agrees with that. Your audio, I think, was, let's see, a note here. I did not hear the doubling. Okay. let's see. The your audio was better. I think we all need to learn how to speak up when we talk into the microphone. I just briefly turn on the 2 meters, and it seems like I'm coming through with a pretty good audio level. Jim usually just comes booming over, and then depending on who's talking, sometimes I really have to crank up the volume to hear them. Let's see. Ron, yes, international texting. Oh my goodness, you've hit a nerve. I know some people who went to Eastern Europe and they didn't know, but every text was something like $5 or something. I mean, it's just cell phone extortion. I don't know if they're still doing this or not, or if they stopped. But so you have to watch your plan, which plan you really have, not whether it allows texting or not, but what are you paying for it? And so I do know a different couple, when they went to someplace, they knew in advance that it was a gouge rate if you didn't buy a local cell phone and get a local cell phone company. So they ask everybody, please don't text us because it's pretty pricey. But I too am absolutely amazed. I have texted with people on the other side of the date line, and they come right back, and I ask one individual, when do you sleep? And he goes, no, I'm still on the old schedule. He's going to take a nap and go to a meeting. It's interesting. India is almost exactly 12 hours difference from us. So what a world we live in, how telecommunications has shrunk it down. And a friend of mine is saying he lives where there's far, far less light pollution than I. He says, wow, there's just satellites constantly going overhead. And I said, well, I think they're probably Starlink, aren't they? He's seeing them at dusk and at dawn, or just after the sun goes down, or just before it comes up. And there's got to be a lot of them up there at this point, zooming around at fairly low altitude, so they must reflect the sun pretty well as they go by. If anybody's seen one, I'd like to hear about it, because I actually haven't seen any Starlink satellites. The light pollution here is pretty bad. I'd probably have to drive out a ways to look at that. So let's see. Other than the usual errands today, I guess tomorrow the heat wave is going to break. It's supposed to get up to 3/10 of an inch of rain over the next couple of days. I don't think that's very much, so I'll probably need to jump out right after the net is over and water for 20 or 30 minutes just to soak it real good, and then hopefully the little damp showers over the next couple of days will give it a chance to soak in. The other thing I've noticed is I'm not seeing any bees this season. I saw one bumblebee when I went out looking at our flowering plants today. I hope nobody sprayed around here. So if you've seen bees, I need a bee report. This is James, WAU7N in Northeast Bellevue. I'm going to turn it back to our net control for the Western Washington Amateur Television Society. That would be Dave over in Seattle. Take it away, Dave.
WU7N, thanks with that. Let's pick up Carlos, 87 NP in Clyde Hill.
Doesn't seem like audio is flowing. Testing again. Oh, I got audio. Okay. I got okays from Bob. Fantastic. Thank you very much. I had pulled on the cable, and the power to the microphone amplifier was gone. Good evening, everyone. Great to see everyone. Sorry that I've been away for a little bit. There's been a lot of work going on, and the evenings have been quite busy. But I've been trying to follow along from the recordings, and I've looked at the system, and the system seems to be still working, so that's pretty good. It's great to see. Yeah, I don't know what was the issue there, Wade. It doesn't seem like your audio was going through, and then and then the 2 meters audio was feeding twice because your account says that audio should be repeated. So that's a complication. I mean, we would have to turn that off like we do for Dave, so that there isn't that echo. So that's your default right now. And I also, the other day, I was listening to Richard on a recording, and Richard, and you tell me what you would prefer, but the setup for your account is that, like Dave, we count on your 2 meter audio, and so I mean, we could just use your audio from the phone also, but it seemed like when you join the net, you usually are on the 2 meter audio also, or you're just on Echolink. But if you want, we can change it to just use the audio directly for your phone. So it's your choice. It's just it's a configuration difference on when we parse your call sign. In terms of updates, propagation have been really good over the last few couple of days. I've mastered on QRZ the number of contacts to have my award for Europe, which means I now have at least 70 contacts on kind of European stations, which I guess it's the good time of the year to do that. I participated on the VHF contest, which was one of the weekends also. Always good activity. There's a lot of to do a 10 gigahertz contact, so that was fun, and 2 gigahertz also, 2.4. So those are the activities, and good audio from everyone. Yeah, I agree that Bob has a good audio. I think in one of the recordings, Bob, people were saying that you had kind of lower audio, and I did some setup on the repeater side to increase the audio coming from the stream. But that still doesn't account. The Jim's audio is definitely the loudest one on 2 meters, but that's just kind of the 2 meters. So I agree with James there, but that doesn't go through the repeater. The video repeater. It just goes straight into the 2 meter repeater. Very good. So I hope my system is still working. I've changed a lot of the antennas. Talking about temperature, I was just checking on the meter that I have on my roof, and it says 98. So that's not good for whatever equipment I have on the roof to be on the 98. So I wonder if all of that thing will survive. I've added some. I added a box that has a small power supply and a 10 gigahertz power booster, and I have just a temperature sensor inside. And now I'm worried that this sun might damage some of it. I mean, it's all powered off except the temperature meter, but kind of really 98. That's not good. That's it for now. I'll send it back to Dave, and on the next one I'll show some pictures of new developments around here.
NP, thanks with that. This is Dave, KD7ZYM, and this is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net on the 08 machine. Well, I've had a signal drop off on transmission. I'm getting great reception here in Lake City, but I noticed that I've gone down about 10 dB on transmitting, and maybe some vegetation problems, or maybe the wind tossed the antenna a little bit to the side. I'll have to check that out later this week when it's a little cooler. But for today, I made a contact with my daughter I hadn't seen in a while, and we went out to lunch. I had a chance to drop by the post office and went to Costco and got some things. And I fired up my air conditioning in my car for the first time. It was just hot enough to drive in, and for not using it for a year, it perked right up and seemed to work okay. So I was kind of worried I might have blown a seal by not using it during the year. So that's about what's happening here for Dave, KD7ZYM in Lake City. So let's go back up to Ron, KD7QKU.
Okay, KD7QKU here in North Tacoma. Nice to see Carlos back. We haven't seen him for a while. And let's see. Wade came over on Monday and picked up my TV equipment so we can take it to the field day. And then he sent some pictures today showing me antennas that he set up on, I think, a tripod that I might have given him. I can't remember now, but I think I did. So it looks like he's all set to go. He did upgrade my iPad to the latest version. I guess it's OBS. And so everything is, like I say, is working good tonight. Bob, it was 78 degrees when you were talking about the temperature at my house, and I see now it's 77. And Dave, it was nice that you got together with your daughter. It's always good to do that, to see your kids. Let's see, I had this is mostly, I guess, for Richard. I have a pulmonary doctor. I had one, he left the area, so I got a new one. It was a lady, I believe she's from India. She was a chief pulmonary doctor at Yakima Valley Hospital, and then she worked in Arizona, and I should have asked her if she was working where you had your lung transplant, but the conversation kind of went in a different direction. So she's a really nice lady. Late 20s or maybe early 30s is kind of hard to tell. Very thorough. She had looked at my records, and I had a PEP scan a couple of years ago, and I was a little concerned about that because it showed I have this spot in my lung. It's probably from working and breathing dust and paint fumes and stuff when I worked in the body shop on cars and stuff. So I've got some spots in my lungs, and they've been watching this one. And she said, "Oh, there's no concern, Mr. Baker." She said, on a scale of 1 to 10, it's almost less than 2 on this PET test. You'd almost say it was negative. She says, and it hasn't increased in size. They just did a CT scan the other day. She said, you don't have to worry. That spot in your lung's it's not going to kill you. You've had it for a long time, and it hasn't done anything, and we don't expect it to do, at least I don't, she said, expect it to do anything. So that was really good news. So I sort of worry about that spot. But so anyway, it's always good news when the doctor, is positive and not negative. So anyway, this Saturday we have a Corvette get together. It's in Port Orchard at Hillcrest Chevrolet. We're thinking about going if it's not raining too hard. Where I parked the Corvette, it gets dirty. It's under a carport, but I can't imagine how it gets so dirty, but it does. It's all grass around here. There's no dirt hardly that I can see, but it gets dusty, that's for sure. So either I'm going to have to take it down Friday and wash it at the do-it-yourself car wash. Don't like to run it through where they have brushes. I don't recommend that. So anyway, we'll see how that turns out. But see, it seemed like there was something else. I guess I told you, I'm pretty sure I told you about the alarm on the Corvette, how it went off, and then how I put the key in the ignition and it stopped it. So if I didn't tell you, I could tell you that story next time. So like I say, it's always nice to see everybody. And Carlos was talking about his equipment getting too hot. Do you suppose you could put up a shade, you know, something to shade it? Piece of plywood, or even maybe canvas, something you could take down, you know, that you wouldn't have to have it up just on these hot days. Maybe you could, I think if it was in the shade, it would really help it. So anyway, that would just be a suggestion for me. All right, back to net, KD7QKU.
KD7QKU, thanks for that. Let's go to Bob, K9PQ.
Okay. Well, I've got quite a bit to comment on here now. Unlike the first time, in fact, the first time they were talking about the temperature a lot and didn't mention about the internet box. Ron, that's quite a story, and um, I've had many situations similar to that. Not exactly like that, but throughout my career where something's not working, and especially the intermittent ones, those will just drive you crazy. And, you know, at some point, you just have to start going and checking every single thing and all the connections and um and it sounds like that's what this guy did and found that the box was hooked up backwards. That's just amazing. I'm really happy to hear your internet's fine now. Um, and Yeah, nice to get all the temperature reports. 98 degrees. That was shocking. Shocking, Carlos. I mean, my suggestion would be something like aluminized mylar. I don't know how insulating it is, but it would keep the sun's rays, it would, you know, away. Um, but I mean, almost anything would do that. It's just something that came up. Ron, it is always nice to get that kind of confirmation on from your doctor that what you've got is no worry. I had a couple of lumps that I've had for a long time that I think they call them fatty tumors, which is not a very flattering term, but it's yeah, but they're, you know, completely harmless, and it's just something I'll have for the rest of my life and should not ever be a problem. You mentioned about the doctor being positive. You definitely want the doctor to be positive, but you want the tests to be negative. What else have I got? Richard, I'll be interested to hear about the car race. Oh, and I didn't hear what you said about your car alarm, but I have missed several nets, so don't take my word for that on whether you've said it or not, Ron. Um, Jim, 84 and comfortably warm. You know, if I'm sitting by a pool, I would agree with you, but otherwise, that's a little on the warm side for me. I prefer, you know, 70s, low 70s even. But I'm glad it works for you. Um, let's see, Wade. Yeah, looking forward to hearing you what you've got planned, and as you found the apparently the 2 meters got doubled, which I didn't hear, but your audio when you were speaking on 2 meters came to me on streaming just fine. James, yeah, the coolest. That one cracked me up. Um, it reminds me of when I got a contract job and I needed to bring my own laptop, which I didn't have a good like professional laptop at the time. And I didn't really know the professional PC, you know, the professional Windows-based laptops, Microsoft laptops, or you know the ones that ran Windows very well. I had heard that that Macs were very, you know, very sturdy, robust, reliable as far as professional laptops. So, not knowing anything else to get at the time, I bought a Mac. And when I first thing I did when I brought it home, was living with sharing a space with a friend of mine, Bill, and his wife was there at the time. His ex-wife was visiting, and um, they wanted me to do an unboxing video, which cracked me up. I didn't even know what that was. That was kind of early in the days. They were more on top of that stuff than I was. But then my comment was I didn't know if I was cool enough for a Mac. That's your cool comment. Uh, Made me think of that because I definitely felt that. It seemed like it was always, they were the cool people, and I was very much more on the Windows. I'm a PC guy. Um, what else have I got? Oh, the VHF contest. That's pretty impressive. 10 gigahertz and 2.4 gigahertz. I'm really curious how far you can get with that, Carlos. I mean, that's almost like, like a laser. It's just I wouldn't imagine there's a whole lot of curvature going on. It's probably very much point to point. I'll be interested in that. Um, and what else have I got? Dave, nice that you were able to get lunch with your daughter. And oh, you were talking about. I think Ron was talking about the dust. Yeah, that's something I've noticed. So where I lived in Bothell, we were next to what had been for many years a sand and gravel place, and they had quarried in to the hillside. So there was lots of rock dust, and it was you had to be really careful, keep it out of your electronics and everything. But it was odd. I'd never seen dust like that, and because it just was like little flakes of rock if you looked at it, under a magnifying glass. Here it's something also that's kind of weird, that kind of dust I've never noticed before. It's almost like flakes, and I can't imagine what it could be. It almost looks organic, but I can't imagine it's that. I mean, maybe it's foliage. I just have no idea, but it's weird, when I just do my general cleanup, do my dusting, it not all of it, but I've get these flakes in there mixed in with the dust, and I have no idea if anyone has thoughts on that, I'd be interested. Okay, I will send it on back. This is K9PQ.
K9PQ, thanks with that. Let's take on Richard, K7ITX.
Okay. So yeah, Ron, we have heard the car alarm story a couple times. So I'm just getting back to you on that. And Carlos, I pretty much resigned myself to Echolink here at the Northwest Kidney Center. So as long as Echolink is still working, then I'm able to check in. But on Saturday, when I'm home, I found my best way to do both audio and video is with my iPhone and my Kenwood 2-meter transceiver. So, and I'm still experimenting a little bit, but I think the perfect scenario is for me to have my video with my iPhone, which is an XS, and I think you might have specifications on it, but I'll use that for video only. So if there's some way you can mute the audio so I don't get echoing on Saturday night, and then I'll just continue, and then I'll sync up and try to make the latency go away as much as possible with my 2-meter shortwave transceiver. So anyway, hopefully that wasn't too much of a convoluted answer. um, gosh, lot to talk about. I mean, I wish I were taking notes. As far as the car race goes, our engine that blew up is being rebuilt right now in the Bay Area, and we expect to receive it a week from tonight, and then we'll gang up on it and get it reinstalled, and we'll be good to go for the 4th of July. So that's pretty exciting. And then on the I guess I'm more on the romantic side. I better stop for a second. So you probably, some of you heard me talking about how we met a girl named Shirley when we were in. I just thought of that term, pit lizard, that Dave brought up, but I don't think she's a pit lizard. We met her at Sonoma, and so she drove for 3 hours to see us, not me, but I'm going to say us. She drove 3 hours to see us in Monterey, and so I knew that because I saw her on Sunday. Well, little did I know, turns out she actually showed up Saturday, and she was there for 2 days, Saturday and Sunday, and so I guess the proverbial $1 million question is, where did she stay for overnight on Saturday night? Well, I'll let your minds wander on that question. I think I know. But anyway, it's sure a lot of fun to conjecture all these things with Mom. It's pretty exciting, actually. But the betting is that she's not going to make it to Seattle for 4th of July. And, this is none of my business, and I'll just leave it at that. I'm not going to talk about it anymore, I promise. This is K7ITX, back to net control.
K7ITX, thanks with the soap opera. Anyway, ongoing, keep us on the front of what's happening there. Let's see if Wade's still with us. W7ITL.
Well, audio's still an issue. I'll have to figure it out after the net, but I'll go ahead and show my pictures. The first picture here is earlier this week I had to troubleshoot a mesh core issue with one of my remote repeaters at one of my friend's house, and I come to find that the reason why the repeater went down is because somebody lopped the cable off that was feeding power to the node. Let's see if I can show more pictures. Not going to show them now. If I can show. There we go. And another picture, close up of the other end of the cable. It got lopped off with some shears. Got that replaced. New Ethernet cable. And Tuesday night, my daughter did Father's Day dinner at her new apartment, and we had a Korean soldier stew or soup. I think that's what it's called. And my son came over and he was helping out, and very hot that day. This picture here is the new disc cone that I'm going to be taking up to Cougar Mountain that I'll be putting in for the new SDR I'm setting up. There's an SDR up there right now, but it's just hooked up to the 2-meter antenna. It's not working very good. But this antenna will be used at Cougar, but it also I'm going to be testing it out at Field Day with W7DK Club. And this is one of the other antennas they'll be taking to Field Day. It's a 3-band vertical. It's a Comet GP95. It does 2-meter, 70 centimeter, and 23 centimeter. So it should work pretty good for DATV that I'm going to be doing that I'll be doing at Field Day. I'm going to be doing a demo at DATV, and we set up 2 stations. And this is the 2-meter, 70 centimeter Comet GP6 antenna that I got from Ron. That used to be where my GP95 tri-band antenna used to sit, but now it's going to be used as my mobile station antenna. Here we go. I'm going to break for just a second. This is a side view of the solar panel that I'm going to be using at Field Day for one of the DATV stations. The other DATV station will be using generator power, but this one will be out in the field. So I got a charge controller behind the solar panel. You see there Jim Andrews' transmitter amplifier. And here we go. This is the solar controller with 2 10-amp-hour batteries that I'll be using for the station. It'll be out in the field with combined power reserves of 20 amp hours, along with 65 watts of solar power that I'll be charging the batteries throughout the day. And those are the solar panels that I'll be using. And that's about all I got, guys. It's nice to hear everybody, and the weather is definitely hot. I'm hoping through luck that we do get some nice days during Field Day so I can use those solar panels and I don't get rained on and I have to use generator power for my other station, which I'm not even sure if there's power up on that hill where I'm going to be putting the second station. So I'll send her back to Dave, our net control. This is W7ITL.
W7ITL, thanks with that. Let's go to Jim, N7QO.
It doesn't seem to be dropping. Can you hear me okay, Dave?
You're fine.
Okay, thank you, Dave. Well, there it dropped anyway. Let's see. Well, Jim, international texting. Okay, I stopped doing that in 2018, but I did a whole bunch prior to my retirement. I had service provided by AT&T, and I received texts for free, but I had to pay 50 cents regardless of country, regardless of continent. I was charged 50 cents per outgoing text message, and text message 60 characters. So if it went to 161 characters, then it would cost me $1. So needless to say, a handful of times I abbreviated some things rather than spelling them out. I assume it's that same way, but I don't know for sure. Things do change. Carlos, 98 degrees on the roof. Well, that's a little more than comfortably warm. Right now I'm showing 94 degrees in my attic, which is where my down converter is, my television converter box. But it's out of the sun. Like a couple people were saying there, you need to have some sort of sunshade over the equipment just to keep the sun from providing additional radiant heat on the equipment. It would also help protect it against the rain or snow or whatever falls, hail, and that would probably put you in a pretty good position. Ron, Corvette meeting Saturday, Port Orchard. That sounds like fun. Be careful. I hope the weather cooperates. I'm not sure what's going to happen this weekend. Some people think it's going to rain. At any rate, it should be more cool than it's been the past couple of days. Bob, yeah, when I was saying comfortably warm, I meant like when I'm outside, but not for working outside, just for like walking between the house and a building or something like that. There was actually a picnic that I went to today, and it was just a little bit uncomfortably warm outside today. My wife, if it got that warm inside, she would be screaming, and she probably wouldn't be my wife much longer, for that matter. So everything is relative. Bob, flakes. Okay, just a thought. There was quite a bit of smoke the past 2 years ago. Was it 2 years ago, 3 years ago? I wonder if maybe some of those flakes could be residual debris from some of the forest fires that were going on in Canada, maybe wafting down across the U.S. border. Just a thought, something for you to consider. Dick, let's see. Echolink works best where you are now, and iPhone for video plus 2 meters on your Kenwood works best when you're at home. Yeah, it seems to work well for you. And Wade, disc cone antenna, that looks pretty cool. Going to install a new SDR at Cougar. Just curious if we could use that somehow, if we could access that, or just for some other purpose. Back to you, Dave, and 7QO.
And not a good evening for the Western Washington Amateur Television Society. Let's go to Carlos, 87 NP for a final.
Or not? Audio flowing? Okay, we have audio. So 87 NP here from Clydesdale. Thank you for the suggestions. I think you guys are right. I should have some cover. Let me show you. I think that is this is heavy. So what I have there is something that looks like this, which is basically it's a metal box and it has a fan. It's a little bigger than this one. It has a fan on the side and it's kind of metal, and right now I have the fan going all the time. This was an additional one that I plan to mount the amplifiers. They come, you see, it's kind of a fan on the side, and it has a little shelf, and then I attach this to the one of the poles that I have for the antenna. A very nice exterior box, but they are metal, and despite having a fan that's always going to control the temperature, well, it goes when the temperature reaches a certain threshold, but definitely on these days it's just getting too much. And in fact, this was for my the controller for the rotator that I have up there, but I'm really hesitating about leaving the equipment up there. I might just have to kind of extend the cables here into the operating shack rather than leaving things up there. But yeah, good suggestions. I definitely should cover that with something for all this sun. Maybe a sponsored umbrella. On the nice setup, oops, as my audio stopped. Nice setup, Wade, with the batteries and everything. I think I'll just be operating from home. On Saturday, there's another soccer game that I definitely want to watch. It's the Portuguese game. And we'll continue to make some good progress. Oh wow, the signal at the repeater seems to be failing a little bit. I see it here on the output. In terms of stuff to show, and Bob, I hope you have a very good trip once you initiate the trip. Setting up some. Let me just switch. Oh, there goes my image again. Keeps failing today. Yeah, so this was the equipment that I put next to the 905. Basically, it's a box that has a power supply. It's a 24-volt power supply that then powers this 10 gigahertz amplifier. And so on this setup, as you know, oops, everything, so that's gigahertz antenna, and then the little booster. So that's what's gaining a little bit of the temperature. So the 10 gigahertz was done with W7GLF, which is here in Kirkland array, and he has some good setup with multiple frequencies. We're trying to north. I don't know why the repeater today seems a little more sensitive. I noticed also, Dave, that when you try to reach, and it's breaking down again. It seems like the repeater is too hot also on receiving our signals. We might have to wait for cooler days to reach. But same thing here, Dave. My signal also doesn't seem to be getting in the same state to the repeater. I think that's it for now. Thank you all. Good to see you all. I think I'll be back around Saturday. And Wade, if you need context during Saturday, I'll be here. I have some additional projects that I need to be working on, so I'll be here by the Radio Shack. That's it for now. Thank you, everyone. I'll be turning it off also. This is 87 NP in Clydesdale, sending it back to Dave. KD7 CYM.
NP, thanks for that. And this has been the Western Washington Amateur Television Society Net on the 08 machine. I'm Dave, KD7ZYM, terminating the net at 9:07. Good evening, all.
Node 3256961 disconnected.